It is now 2 minutes after 7. This is Morning Express. In case you're joining us now, Karibu Sana. It's glad. We always are very happy to host you right here on Morning Express. Today is Tuesday, and on Tuesday, what we do, we highlight on persons of interest. And today, we have none other than Joshua Arap Sang. Now, for many of us, especially in Kenya, that's a name that, of course, rings a bell because it's been in the news for the last 6 to 7 years. And this is because of the ICC case that has been going on. We do know that as per last week, we had the ICC cases dropped, and this is because they were pronounced as a mistrial. From the ICC side, they say there was tampering with witnesses, and that is one of the major reasons why Fatou Bensouda was not able to carry on with that particular case or those particular cases because she did not have enough evidence to create any doubt. But anyway, this morning we have Joshua Arap Sang, who is our person of interest. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Great to have you.
No.
Let's start as usual, like we do on person of interest, just by knowing who Joshua Arap Sang is and where you grew up.
Joshua Arap Sang is a Kenyan male, born in Saum village in the some 40 years or so. Mm-hmm. And I started my primary school in Hague Primary School. Mm-hmm. Up to class 4, and then I moved to boarding school, a place called Konyao, that is in West Pokot, deep inside West Pokot, at the border, Uganda-Kenyan border. And I'm still confused why our parent chose that school, because
why?
It was very far. You know, it's a place you are dropped, nobody comes visiting until you close the term.
Is it your parents who chose it, or maybe it was your parents?
No, we were too young to choose anything. You were too young. At class 4, I think is the one who chose. I went there up to class 7, then it was too hot in that area. Mm-hmm. You know, it's deserts. And then we moved to another school in West Pokot still, that is called Kabij Beach High School in Leland. That is very cold too. And I stayed there for 1 year. It was too cold. Then I say, no, I've been in West Pokot for almost now 5 or so years. I need to move to another area. So I came back home knowing that if I did my class 8 in West Pokot, definitely there was a possibility of being called to a secondary school, same place. Then I came back to Saum Primary School, that is my home local area. Then I did my class 8. I passed. I was called to Kitale Academy, that is in Kitale, for high school, which I finished the year 1993 as my 4th form. Then I started some small business at the border, Swam border, buying maize and, bringing it to Nairobi. And by then I was trying to get to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication because my passion was to be a broadcaster.
Okay.
So when I finished school, my parents thought I would be a teacher. So they chose that I go to a teaching college. But I told them, no, my passion is in media, and I will not go to any other college apart from Kenya Institute of Mass Communication.
So you refused to go and become a teacher? Yes.
I said I want to go to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication.
How did your parents take that? I know back in the day, what parents said was almost the gospel.
Yes, it was actually. It was hard. But I told them, there's no need for me to go and waste your money going to a college that I don't think I'll serve well.
Okay.
After that. So they said, fine. So do whatever you want to do and try to seek for the admission to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I did all those years until 2003 when I came to Nairobi is when I went one-on-one myself to that college, and I told them, you have my letters, application letters, go to your stores, you'll find them. So many of them. You refused me, but I'm here in person. But, by then, 90s, it was like 18. They used to take only 18 students to take any college, either radio, broadcast, and the rest. 18 in the whole republic. So it was difficult for small people like us who came from a place which is unknown, so who knew me, I didn't have any godfather. But when I came to Nairobi, then in the year 2003, when I moved from Sayare to Biblia Usema Broadcasting, and then I decided to go to Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, where I found the principal. I told him I've been looking for this college, and here I am. Please admit me. I don't want any other college. It's this one. Then they said, fine. If that is your passion, with this courage, come.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was so happy. But before then, you know, with the passion of broadcasting, you know, I went to, as I said earlier, I was in Uganda border swamp, buying maize and selling for some time. Then I got some small money. I came home, I started a small business. I used to sell radios, because that is also in broadcast. I used to bring radios from Uganda, come and sell small radios and vitenges at a place called Kachibora shopping center.
And this is still as a journalist, or was that a side hustle?
That's business. As I was waiting to go to Kenya Mass Communication, I said, let me do something. So, you know, selling radios was my passion, radio and, you know, broadcast. It was all in the same line. So I sold for some time. Then, you know, as it is always said, a prophet is not actually accepted at home. I got a lot of debts from people. They would come and take my things and say, you'll pay you. See, we know you. You are a son of so and so. I said, I told these guys. Then I was actually doing a lot of losses at that area. I moved to a place called Longisa, where my sister was married. That is in Bomet. Did a small business, 95, 96, 97, 96. Then I said that was not the place I would be also. I came back to Eldoret, where we had a small sports house with my brother. We opened called Eldo City Sports House. We used to sell sports goods. And God was so merciful to me. As we were doing that, a new radio station began in Eldoret called Sayare, Sauti Arema Radio, 99. I went there when it began. I told them, now, this is my
passion.
This is what I want to do. They told me, do you have any papers? Have you gone to any college? I told them, I have not gone to any college, but I know my passion is in media.
Radio.
Because, please, just give me a chance. They say, no, you see, you know, people have gone to school, you know, you have not gone. I told them, okay, fine. Do you have anything like audio test or something like that? Please, you can test my voice if it deserves. Then they took it and said, no, wow. You can make it. I told him, yes. I told you, you know, it's something that you're not telling me. It's me telling you, because I know. Yes, I knew, because I remember when I was young, when I used to take care of cattle at home, I would take my Taifa Leo, read loud to the animals, news. Yeah. And I would take when the animals are settled, I just take huyu ni Joshua Arap Sang.
You'd see yourself reading.
Yes. Then I went on like that. I used to admire people like William Wangi, you know, Mohamed Juma Juguna. Kids, feel this is what I want to do. Yeah, David Arap Mayo. Then they took me. He went there. There was Kalenjin, Kiswahili, and English. So I used to do the 3 programs. I used to go to Kalenjin 5 to 7, from 7 to 8 Kiswahili, then English. That's what I did for Sayare. And by then, it was a small radio station. They did not have any money. We were just volunteering. But I told my God, let this be my 10% when I get to media. What I'm doing now, I'm not being paid, but it's your 10%. So I worked there for almost 6 years. I was paid the last 2 years. Then I got married in the year 2003.
So that period you're working on voluntary basis?
Yes. I used to do my business at night. I go serve God.
What was your program like? What is it that you are broadcasting?
First, mostly it was like in Kalenjin, it was salams, and, reading announcements, because a 1 hour, 2 hour program. So it was greetings from people, you know, hosting people, sometimes preachers, because it's a Christian radio station. I used to host preachers and some people. Then in Kiswahili, it was just the same, mostly queuing in programs, there's preaching. And thereafter, you can host one person once in a while, play music. English was just mostly preaching and music overnight. We used to go until morning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the sort of program at Sayare.
Okay.
Then in 2003 is when I got married in Eldoret and moved to Nairobi now, to Biblia Usema Broadcasting, which I also did 1 hour program Kalenjin and Kiswahili, because mostly Kiswahili.
Okay, we'll come to your family. I just want us to, there are some of the pictures rolling there, and maybe you can just update us. What was happening there? Is that when you were in school? That seems a very dangerous thing to do, Joshua Arap Sang.
That is the best thing to do as students.
What was happening there? Were you in motion, or the bus was...
It had stopped somewhere.
Okay.
We were in Kerio Valley.
You're the one in red?
Yes, I'm a great footballer.
Oh, really?
I can score like
what position do you play?
That is number 9.
Number 9. So that's a striker.
Yes, a striker.
And which is your EPL team of choice?
Arsenal.
Arsenal. You're an Arsenal man.
The vigorous young team.
We'll disagree and stop this interview.
You should be Man U, I think.
But anyway, yeah, that's Manchester United. And what about the local league? Who do you support?
Sofapaka, although they are really letting me down.
Okay.
But I loved Sofapaka when it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you are. Were you in school or what was happening there?
Yeah, that was school. We were playing football. That was football in school. Yeah, it was school also. You know,
as a teacher or a student?
Yeah, when teachers were not in class, we would not sit down there. We would teach one another and help each other. So I was teaching maths there.
Okay.
That is in Form 4. And that is now my passion, the school I loved, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication.
And this now you went after you came back to Nairobi to KIMC. Okay, let's have another picture there. I think we had seen quite a number.
That was graduation
day. This was this graduation day?
Graduation, yes.
Okay,
yes.
And after how long did you graduate? You know, after
3 years for diploma. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next picture. Okay, and yeah, there you go. That is you.
That is my sweetheart who became my wife later on.
Okay, at this point were you married?
No. She was in college. I had visited her in college on her birthday, and she was also graduating.
And I can see you know how to do these things. You went with a bunch of flowers.
I can tell you.
Did you actually carry those flowers yourself to get there?
Yes.
Because I know for many men that's a problem. You know, carrying them together, you'd rather send somebody.
I did it because of love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And maybe just to ask you off the cuff as we are looking at her now, how did you ulim katiaje? What was your introduction line?
Okay, I had known her because we used to attend church camps in Chirangani during those days. So when we were in high school is when we met. She comes around there. So I saw her, I told her, you look good, and you are, I love you. Whenever I see you...
you told her you love a pap. Story mingi?
Because their competition, you don't go around telling her, you are the what and what. Oh, I love you, and I think one day we need to live together as man and wife.
Hey, I'm telling you, she must have been... wasn't she taken aback, wondering...
Yeah, she said, I'm not ready. She said, I'm not ready for marriage. I told her, I'm not marrying you now, but
I'm just letting you know.
Yes.
Okay. So would you say yours was love at first sight?
Yes.
The minute you saw her, you knew this is her?
Yes, because I used to see her in school, very quiet, cool lady. Then when you come, she would just keep quiet, well-groomed, and Christian life. I said, this is the kind of person...
This is the one I would like to be the mother of my children.
Yes.
Okay. We have another picture there.
Yes, this is my home church. I'm the patron. It's called IC Saum. This church, we started building long time ago. But during this time of the case, I told God, I was a patron. I want you to help me complete this church so that when we end our case, we will celebrate as a thanksgiving to you. This is what I want to give it to you. I just want to honor you by completing this church and presenting to you as a gift of helping us end this.
So what was your responsibility as a patron when you say you wanted to do this?
I had to, I looked for funds. There are so many people I approached to come and do Arambe. Deputy President came, did almost 3 Arambes. The same, we had Kalonzo also, the former Vice President, he came. And many other friends. Okay. So that is, I went looking for funds to complete the church. To complete,
and is it complete now?
It is. I think by Thursday it should be complete because we are looking at Sunday, this 24th, as a day of Thanksgiving because of the ICC case and opening the church.
So are you a pastor or just a patron? Or
patron, I'm a mzee wa kanisa.
Okay. Now I see she accepted finally.
Yes.
After kumwambia I want to marry you, I love you, love at first sight. Did she give you issues, before agreeing?
Yes, of course. Some, why now? Let's wait, that kind of a thing. Until the time that I had decided 2 or 3, this is the year to get married, she was not ready. I told her, it's up to you. You either do it this year or you forget about me. I go
so it was going to be her loss if she goes?
I don't know. But maybe she took it because at the end of the day, she agreed. Say, okay, what do you want? I told her, it was in December. I told her, mwezi wa nne, that is April, we come for engagement. and we get married on 2nd of June 2003. She agreed. We went to her home April.
You began
the preparation. Then on 2nd of June 2003, we got married at AIC Fellowship Eldoret.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. And I can see it was a very colorful wedding.
It was.
Yeah, very, very colorful. And how was the wedding itself?
It was very good. You know, by then, you can imagine, I was actually working at Sayare by then. And I told you the payment was very little. But, you know, after the small business kept here and there, friends came in, you know, so many people wanted to contribute and to make this success. So it was a good thing. I really say it was a wedding of its own kind during those days. Okay. But when I compare it to what I'm seeing now, I see maybe it was a very small wedding.
Okay. Well, I guess as long as you are happy. I also see here, were you preaching, or was this more almost a launch or feeling into getting into politics? What was happening here?
This is when I was now working at CAS FM. Whenever I go to functions, people would demand that I greet them. So this is one of the functions. So you are a celebrity of sorts? That is it. So people would demand, then I think this was somewhere in Ziwa, where people, you know, said, you must address us, say something. And I was just greeting them. Okay. Yeah.
All right. And, okay, I don't know if we have another picture coming up so that you can explain to us what that was. But as you've also ventured into other things, like here, farming, working.
Yeah, I'm making some silage there, and you know, I love farming so much. So you know,
is that another one of your passions?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Farming, broadcasting, and politics. Those are three things.
We'll come to politics in just a bit. What were you doing here? And is this your farm, or were you
this is my farm. This is a farm. I had gone to the farm, harvested some green maize, almost ready for silage. So here we were making silage. Those are the bags. You know, you put inside, you close it. Stayed for around a month. It's ready for the animals. Okay. To be fed.
So you have your own farm.
Yes,
where is your farm located?
I have a farm in Kitale, but the one that I want to do serious farming now in terms of agriculture, horticulture, and everything else is in Eldoret, around Eldoret Airport.
How big is your farm?
Just enough for me.
How big is that? Or you don't want to declare it?
Yeah, that is just good enough. I can't know what to say.
That it's big enough for you. Is this part of it?
Yes, yes. This is
it looks quite well developed, and there's some technology you're using there for irrigation.
For this one is in Eldoret Airport, which is 2 acres, I can say that, which I'm doing horticulture, and half of it I want to keep 28 animals, dairy animals. I've already have fish ponds inside. And then I have also, I want to keep some chicken, and then I will also do test poultry, and then I will also already have some doper sheep inside there, the 2 acre plot. Yes. Okay. So this is farming. This is drip irrigation. And you see how it is doing. It's
okay. So is this something that you intend to carry on? Or,
this is what I've been doing during this case. When I am home, I'll do that. But this is what I want to go fully into it now.
Okay. Yeah. I also see there is Nandi Sports House there. You seem to be into quite a number of things.
As I told you, when I was home waiting to go to Kenya for Mass Communication, we opened a sports house with my brother. But now I have my own called Nandi Sports House, which I have a shop in Eldoret and another one in Kapsabet, selling sports goods and wares.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's now come. You're married. Any children?
Yes, yes. I'm blessed with 4 girls.
4 girls.
4 girls. One is in class 6, 3 class 1, and another one is just 1 year old.
Okay. Yeah. And how do you manage to do all these things? You have the sports house, you have farming, presenter. How do you manage to balance all your stuff?
I've learned to multitask. One, I left broadcast in 2012, so I had time. Apart from being at the Hague, whenever there was no court session, I was home. So I would go home, do a few things. That's in terms of like the horticulture, create an Eldoret, animals. So I go home over the weekends, and during the week I'm mostly in Nairobi with the children, my wife, And the same when I'm doing farming, the sports house is there. So there are people running it. Mine is just give me orders. I go get the orders. I would call the shop that I get my orders. They send back to where the shops. That's how I do these things.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's come to what brought you to the headlines, and that's the ICC. Just walk me through the journey. First of all, there was what was happening in 2007, 2008. There was all that violence. Then, of course, there was Kofi Annan who came into the country, and there were all these tribunals and things that were set up to try and sort us out. Then your name appears. Walk me through that. First of all, how did you receive that? How did you get that news?
I got the news when I had just come from a retreat for head of radios in the country. We had gone to Naivasha, where we were being asked to, as we were waiting for the names to be announced, we had been told to calm the situation, calm the people.
On radio?
Yes, on radio. Actually, they were everybody, even TV. So they were telling us how we will approach the whole issue and how, we're supposed to inform the people about the cases, that is something that is not, nobody has been declared guilty. You need to wait. It's a process, and it will come to a place where somebody will be proven guilty or not guilty. So we were told to do that. But before even we went to that Naivasha retreat, a week or some 4 days before, we had been called by a news station called Internews, and there was Ocampo himself. So we were with him. He was telling us, this is a process. I'm going to name some Kenyans. I would like you people to help me so much, especially us, whom we were reaching the Rift Valley, that you calm the situation, let people know that this is a process. Whatever names are coming out, there is no one who is guilty. It is a process. If they are not found guilty, they'll be vindicated. So help us to calm the situation. We were there and asking him a lot of questions. What about the witnesses? I remember we were asking him, what about your witnesses? He said, my witnesses are in a safe place. They are within, we have them, and they are very far away from this country.
Yeah, at that point, did you have any inkling, any feeling, idea whatsoever?
Not even a glow of any nature. Yeah, because I was just doing my work as a broadcaster by then, and as head of station, CAS. So it went like that. And when the day came for announcement, I was shocked, because the little knowledge I have in issues of law is that when I'm accused, the person who is a prosecutor must come to see you and ask you, Mike, somebody has accused you of this and this. What do you have to say? Nothing of the sort happened to me. I was with the camp of some days before announcement. He didn't do any of that. Yeah. Instead, he was telling us to go and calm people, tell people that these things are process. And I think he should have just been bold enough to say, Arap Sang, when this thing come, can you calm yourself? Instead of telling me to go and calm the people. Because I was with him. He didn't say anything.
Were you with him as a panel or as
a panel? A panel. He even took some photos. I wish I gave you the photo. He took some photos with him. So when he named me, I was like, okay, this is how law happens nowadays. I used to know that somebody must come to you, ask you if you know anything of what you have been accused of. He didn't do the same. So I said, good, it's a process. Let me go, and my God will vindicate me, because I was very innocent. The things that we were told, we did that. In 2007, because they say I used to favor ODM, I used to favor Ruto. He comes to the studio like he wants, that kind of a thing, as if there was no rules, there were no regulations, like Ruto would come and stay even up to midnight, selling policies of ODM, which it could not happen, because it's a station we rely on paid adverts.
Timed.
Yes, so those are the things they said. But I remember very well, 2007, what I did was quite in order according to our regulations, where I gave opportunity to all parties to come and sell their policies. And, it was open to everyone. In fact, if you calculate the airtime used between November and December 2007, PNU featured more on my shows than even ODM. Yeah, and I hosted them. They had all the time. Then 2007, by 29, when there was some skirmishes here and there because people had waited for the announcement for a long time, I was calming people. I have the recording. I played at the Hague. telling people, please, why close the roads? Why why all this tension? Wait, this thing will come. Announcement will come. One person will be announced as a winner. It doesn't matter. You have voted. You have done your part. Just wait for Electoral Commission to give you the winner. And when the winner, you have already had your MPs, your councillors, you have them. So it's only the presidential vote that you are waiting. Just calm down, wait. So one person will be announced, and that will be the president of the republic.
But now, at the point where you received this news, that your name is amongst those, I mean, looking at even the profile of those who had been named, it's like you have all these people who are in charge of huge institutions and government organs, and would command a lot of support. Why do you think your name would have appeared there?
That is a question that I still have lingering in my mind up to date, because these were, as you said, this was who is who in the government. Ministers, our president now was deputy prime minister by then. Ruto was minister for agriculture, Koske minister, as well as ODM chairman. We have earlier police commissioner, Mudaura, the head of public service, and Arap Sang, just a journalist. So according to me, my own assessment was that the people who concurred all these things were targeting the Kalenjin. So they looked at how do we term this Kalenjin, and it was like, yeah, we can, we deal with their political structure. And the political structure as now, those who are handling it are Koske as the chairman of ODM, because many of our college people are in ODM by 2007. And who is the figurehead of political figurehead is Ruto. They fixed him. So what is, where does these people get their information? And they saw CAS came about and Kalenjin came together. They had an opportunity, a forum to discuss issues. This is CAS, and who is the most prominent guy? Arap Sang. Let's fix these things and Kalenjin will be nowhere.
Okay, I really don't want to put you on trial here because the courts have already done that and you've gone through the process. But of course, in many Kenyans' minds, they would be wondering, there are other higher profile Kalenjins, if your theory is true, that they possibly would have targeted, if it was just to target a community. But why Joshua Arap Sang, who nobody knew about apart from maybe people in that area, and then suddenly, I mean, this was huge. We're talking about a court case that is being held internationally, that is being looked at by all countries and sundries. So why Joshua Arap Sang out of all those people?
As I said, it's the same theory, because you look at it this way. The target, according to me, was Ruto. By whoever the calculators was Ruto. So, you know, for one to be fixed, you have to get a sort of network. Yeah, you have to get a network. You have to get hierarchy. Then they put Ruto there, and then the network was the Kalenjin as a whole. So they wanted something where they can prove to the court that, there is a network. So the media was brought in as a media of communication to the people, that whatever Ruto wanted to pass to the community, because it was very hard for them to say, okay, Ruto used to go from meeting to meeting to talk to the people. They said, I used to attend the meetings, the planning meetings, then take that message to radio, and from radio I can disseminate now to the network members, on how to attack, coordination, all those kind of things. So I was brought in to fit into the network and to support the allegation or to support the whole theory that there was a planning, and Ruto was there. I was his man. Whatever he said, I would not question. I would go on air and say what was said at the meeting. I would go and relate to the people from the radio. So that was it. That was the main thing. And good enough, they didn't do their homework well. Because like somebody was saying, I was on air from 31st of December, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, January 2008, not even sleeping for a minute. I was alone on studio for 5 good days. According to what they According to the allegation. And the thing I was doing was to coordinate attacks, tell people, direct them where to attacks, and telling them, now you finish with Langas, go to Kimomu, from Kimomu go this side, the police are there, can you move? There is a roadblock there, don't use that road, use this road, on air. And we have John Michuki as the Minister for Internal Security. Yeah, I remember one day, you know, there was something about rattling the snake with the Standard Media Group. And, you know, that was just a perception that there's something that's going to be created. But here is Arap Sang on air 4 days.
In a row.
In a row, coordinating attacks. And Michuki was so lenient to me, saying, Arap Sang, you're doing a good job. Let me go and sleep. You are directing people to attack my community. You are a good boy. Just continue doing it. Would that have happened? Really, really, really?
Okay. So you received the news of you being in the Ocampo, in the infamous Ocampo Six, just like the rest of the world. You didn't have any communication before, not a phone call, nothing. You had it in the media like everybody else?
The only communication I had, in fact, was rumors. Because Mheshimiwa Ruto called me when I was coming from Naivasha, telling me that, have you heard these things? He called me severally and, you know, like trying to gauge if I had seen a rumor. But, you know, he would call, say, how are you? Fine. I'm in Naivasha. Okay, good. Oh, thank you. This day when I asked him, when are you? I'm on the way. Okay. And then around 11, when I had arrived in Nairobi, he called me and said, you know what? I've heard some rumors. I think he just wanted to help me so that, you know,
talking to you?
Mheshimiwa, the deputy president.
Okay.
Now.
So you two were close?
We were friends. We were friends, definitely.
Where did your friendship start? How did it start? Was it just through radio?
No, not radio. I was in Eldoret by then, 96, when he was running for first time as an MP in 97. I was in Eldoret. I was doing his campaign. We used to meet because by then I was in Eldoret and doing that small business. So we used to meet all through, you know, that kind of. And then he had become as a strong politician within the Kalenjin, being on radio, both in Sayare, Biblia Usema, and I was doing Christian radio station and CAS. He would, you know, he was among the people I used to host. So from there, you know, we developed friendship, and many others, not only him. We developed a lot of friendship, and, you know, that is how I came to know him and came to like him also in this kind of politics. As a young person who came from nowhere, and, you know, he was somewhere in the radar, political radar in Kenya. So
okay.
That's how.
Right. So he called you and told you he's here.
Yes, there's rumors that I'm there. It's like you are also there. You know, so you Koske. But
this was before the announcement.
Yes, before the announcements.
Okay.
So I said, how is it true? Then I told him, okay, fine, let's wait and see. It will come at around 2:30.
How did he get the information, since it was meant to be secret until?
Even you media heard it, so I don't know. So many people heard the rumor.
You media, you say you media like you are not in media. You're a journalist.
I was, but imagine I don't know where I was. I was in such kind of darkness. I didn't have any clue at all. Okay. But at least there are some people, because there were some people everybody was fearing, you know, like you can mention somebody's name and tell it is not there, and it's a huge thing. So I think so many people had it. I don't know the leakage where it came from, but he told me. Okay. Then I went to the chairman's office. We sat there watching the TV, and the name came. I was like, this is me. I was asking people, is that Arap Sang? Please help me. Is that me? This man is saying, say, yeah. Because what I had was like, another one is Joshua Arap from the Ocampo.
The pronunciation,
I just laughed. I just laughed. I said, okay. And then it was hard, you know. By then I still, how these guys told me, it's a process, don't mind. And then again, you know, we had been told. And again, I knew I was very innocent. So I told God, you are there. When these people are making up all these things, you are there. You are God. You know me all the way from my life. And this burden is too heavy for me. I give it to you. Carry it for me.
How did your wife take it?
It was tough. It was tough because when I went home, met her, even breaking the news, it was hectic. And remember, you know, I respect also Rachel Ruto, Her Excellency. You know, when this thing came, they came with another lady called Ogla Karani. They went with me home to inform my wife.
Ogla Karani.
Yes, and you know, Miss Ruto, the husband has been named. She had all the courage, you know, to take me, to my wife go. We spoke to her. It was disturbing. But I told her, you know, this is life, and as long as we are here, even the Bible says, you know, these things happen. So the good news is that I'm innocent too. My God knows all this, and will be vindicated without any fear. Let's just face it, because the best thing to do is face it. I told her, we'll go, we'll face it. It will take as many years as it could, but the best thing is that I'm innocent. Inside my conscience, I was clean.
Okay.
And when we gave it to God, He took it away, we were just working.
So generally you had a good support system because you had friends and family who believed in you.
Yes.
At any time did they doubt and wonder, could there be things that you did that they're not aware of?
Not at all, because what I'm accused of is something that was done on air. People were listening to me. In fact, people were so annoyed that, and they wanted to know what are these allegations. Yeah. So to take my lawyers, please explain to these people what they're saying about me. Because some people might think, yeah, maybe there's something, because, you know, this is an international court. How can they just come and pick one person or pick these 6 people? They must be having very concrete evidence against these people. But I can tell them that after all the assessment, after going the full trial, prosecution trial, what was found is really not even what people are saying mistrial. Because, yes, they can say mistrial because of interference and the rest, but I had no power to interfere with anything. I was in a process. Number 2, what they found was, 1, there were no evidence at all about any audio presented by the prosecution as evidence against me, apart from the statement from the witnesses who are biased. They are all PNU, whatever, you know, agents and party members. So because they didn't want ODM, definitely they were biased. So that's even what the Nini court, the judges, they say there was no evidence. There was no evidence of a meeting. They said I had attended 6 meetings at Ruto's place. I had never been to Ruto's home in the year 2007. And they said I was there one time. I was the MC when the 3 guns were being distributed.
Okay.
You know, that kind of
I guess that, yes, that, like I said, has gone through the court process. Yes. And you don't want to go through that again. But let's now walk me through the ICC process. Here you are now. You've been named. You've told everybody in the newspapers, flashed all over. Nobody, not very many people, let me put it that way, knew Joshua Arap Sang. But suddenly you are a household name. Everybody knows Joshua Arap Sang. How did that affect you? And how did that affect your relationship even with those people close to you?
I can say I really commend Kenyans. The Kenyans are good people. In fact, most of them were really crying with me. Whenever I met them, they say, Arap Sang, we know you're innocent. This is not possible. We know what happened in Kenya, but we can't believe you participated in any way, you contributed in any way. They said, Sang, we're sorry, we are praying for you. And, you know, you will come out, just be strong, depend upon your God. We are praying for you. All the people, wherever I met them, in supermarket, in street, in churches, in meetings, nobody at one point came and said, Arap Sang, murderer, what are you doing here? Nobody. So, I believe everybody was shocked. Because according to how Ocampo even himself had packaged all this ICC thing, it was about the people in government, very powerful people in government who did these things. Then here, which government was I in? Being on radio, a private radio station. So people were actually, they were so touched and they were praying for me. So I would say I loved Kenyans because of that.
Okay. Now, I want us to fast forward and move to the Hague, where you even set up a home, as it were, because at times you were there for long. And there's a story that had been done by one of our reporters, and it's called His Room in the Hague. And I'd like us to just have a bit of that story. And this is so that you can also fill us in on the experience of living in a foreign country, waiting for the hangman's noose, to use an expression, and your family is at home. So here's the story of His Room in the Hague.
Along a not so busy street in The Hague, one Joshua Arap Sang has found a new home, at least for the next 18 days. At one corner of the flat, Sang tries to keep in touch with family and friends through the social networking site Facebook, the closest he will get to them for now. Even after the ICC adjourned the trial against him and his co-accused Deputy President William Ruto on Tuesday, Sang cannot leave The Hague.
Kwenda na kurudi ni kumaanisha ndege, kwenda na kurudi ni pesa. Na pesa hizo mimi sina wakati huu. So itakuwa ni uketi hapa na unaona vile hali anga huku inanyesha, mara inyeshi, baridi, mara jua.
A trip back home, he says, would have been perfect, and not because of the weather.
Mimi mpenda ng'ombe sana. Kwa sababu kuna ng'ombe wangu mmoja na ngojea azae, ningependa niwe nyumbani nikiona akizaa.
But for him, it is not just the finances that are keeping him in The Hague. His visa restricts him to staying within the vicinity of the International Criminal Court.
Ingekuwa hata imeahirishwa hivi na hiyo visa ilikuwa inaniruhusu kutembea Holland yote, ingekuwa ni vema kwa sababu mimi mtu napenda ng'ombe sana. Ningekuwa nimeenda kuona vile wanafuga ng'ombe wao,
His flat has the basics, among them a kitchen, a lounge area and a computer. But despite the comfort, Sang says the duration of the trial will be tough for him.
Watoto wangu najua nimezoea kuwa na wao. Kila jioni wakitoka shuleni, mimi nafanya homework pamoja na wao. Na imagine sasa hii mwezi huu wote tutakuwa na wao.
Sang is a father of 3 children, aged 9, 6 and 4. He says at their tender age, they now know of a place called the ICC.
Niliwaambia tu kwamba kuna watu ambao walisema niliua watu, nilifanya mambo haya. Na wakastuka sana, akasema lakini daddy sio mtu ya kuua watu. Nikamwambia wamesema, na sasa nimeenda hiyo nchi inaitwa Holland kwenda kuangalia hao watu na kusikia Kenya wanasema.
In court on Tuesday during opening statements by legal teams, Sang in an unsworn statement made an impassioned plea to the judges to drop the charges against him, saying the court has the wrong man.
And here there's somebody saying it on there 4 days according to them. The government just was so lenient to me. I was too short to be noticed by law.
With 3 days before the trial resumes, with no money to fly back home and with a visa that restricts his movement, Sang is finding ways of keeping himself busy.
Maandishi ama statement ya mashahidi kwa sababu mawakili wangu wamepewa, tumepewa, nitakuwa napitia.
He says he can't wait for the day he will return to Kenya to be with his family and to have some ugali and mursik.
Well, that's his room at The Hague. And in case you have any questions for Joshua Arap Sang, we now open up the phone lines. Feel free to call in case you'd like to ask him or engage him directly. I'll request that you keep your questions or comments very brief, get to the point so that we save on time. But Joshua Arap Sang, run me through what was going on in your mind at that time when you're in The Hague, in this small room, trying to communicate with your family. And here is the whole country waiting to hear what's going to happen to you, of course, and the others.
Definitely it was the saddest moment of my life. One, being separated from my young family. Two, facing the kind of weather that is there at The Hague. And three is missing my favorite foods. So I was like, yes, here I am.
Did your children ever ask you what's going on there?
Yes, definitely. Every time that I left, they told me, where are you going? Yeah. And I used to hide because they were young. I used to hide, I'm going there there are some people who accuse me, I'm going to see them. They refuse to come to Kenya, so I must go there and meet them there, discuss about it, and then come back. I used that for some time until they told me, you are going to The Hague. And in fact, some of the people at school told us that you are going to be hanged. It was a shocker. It was a shocker.
How old were they?
As I said, 9 years. The first one was 9 years, 7 years, and 4 years. So it came to a point where I told them the truth. Like this, there are people who say this, I've been going there for all this time, but you know me very well. I've been with you. Do I look like I can kill anybody? Do I look that I can do any harm to anybody? Say, no, Daddy, we trust in you. We know you. I told them, yes, that is it. So have that faith and know that it will come to an end one day. So just persevere. And they would see me there every evening. I would call them, sometimes Skype, talk to them, come home. I told them I'll be coming. Just give me some 2 days, 3 days, I'll be coming home, and that kind of a thing. It was hectic. In fact, there's a time when I was going to The Hague, the young one refused. They wanted to go with me. She cried. She cried when I was leaving. She was crying, saying, let's go with you. And you can imagine going to the plane for 8 hours and having that voice of the child crying, we have to go with you or you stay with us. It was tough. It was tough. Yeah.
Now, I know that what really literally describes your reception of the news after it was announced a week and a half ago, and I'd want us to play that clip because it's one of those that you remember for life, where Joshua Arap Sang, you broke into tears and you're crying, and of course this is after all the prayer rallies, so you broke, and generally just for us to get that moment, and you let me know what was going on in your mind and your emotions at that time. And this is Joshua Arap Sang after receiving the news of the case being dropped.
I'm just delighted that I have my freedom today. This is what I've been longing for the last 6 or 7 years. God has seen us through today. I'm so happy. I have my freedom. That is what matters. I want to thank God so much. I want to thank my lawyers, led by lead counsel here, Katwa Kigen. They have done a wonderful job. They have done all that is possible. And now we are free with Bosekia. My lawyers have been great support. I just want to say thank you, God. Thank you, Kenyans. Thank you, everyone that has been praying for us all this time. You are great. I love you, people. I love you, Kenyans. I love you. Thank you, God. I'm free. Free. Yes, I'm free. The lies are gone. Now I have my freedom. That is what matters. Thank you, God. Thank you, Kenya. Thank you, President Uhuru. Thank you. All this has been made possible because of Kenyans who have been praying for us. They have done what is possible to make us free. I was innocent, I'm innocent, and I will always remain innocent. I said and I said I was an innocent journalist, and that has been proven today. Thank you, God. Thank you. Let it just be there. I'll give you, we will give you a comprehensive statement on Thursday afternoon.
Joshua Arap Sang there with reception of the news, and at some point you seem to be holding it together and very, together in terms of just, declaring what has happened. Then at some point, emotions took over.
Yeah, because you see, all through I've been holding that for the sake of my children and family. It was hurting, but I couldn't, wherever I appeared on TV, be calm.
You had to be strong.
Be strong for them. But here, it has come, all that has been holding me inside I was free, So it just came, I was trying to hold it, but it came, and I was so happy because, you see, you're being released of lies. 6 years, sitting in court, somebody, 30 witnesses, saying lies against you, one after the other one, facing you, people I supported in Eldoret, some of them, people I used to feed when I was doing that small business. There were street boys here and there, people who, depending on handouts, they will come and say, oh, give that guy Gideri or 20 bob, tea sometimes, and here they are, accusing you.
Now, you mentioned there, and of course you say that I'm free.
Yes.
What are you intending to do with your freedom?
One, as I said, I really want to let people know that accusing somebody falsely is not anything that one should admire. Whatever you want, if you get money, I know they got money, they got lives outside the country, that kind of thing, but I want to say, please be yourself. Do not sell your brother just because of money. That is one. So as I said, God willing, we'll be starting at a TV station, a Christian TV station, where we can reach out to these people, preach them, change them. Number two, I wish also to visit most of these prisons, because going by what I went through, I know there are many people who have been locked in, because of lies. I just want to encourage them. It doesn't matter, you can be there all these years, but God is alive. I went through an international criminal court, and God saw us through. The same can happen to you.
You mentioned that there may have been interference of witnesses and tampering. Would you say that justice was done?
Justice was done to me.
To you as an individual?
All of us, of course, the six. Because...
how was justice done if there was interference?
Interference is a word used by prosecution to hide their failure. Because surely, if the judges have found that there were no evidence of a network, there were no evidence of any audio of me saying the alleged crime in whatever it was said, they said that there was no command, there was no communication with the attackers. They said there was no case to answer. That is one fact that we should start from. That out of all the evidence they was given to them by prosecution, there was nothing to hold us there. There was no case to answer. So the only thing that has happened now is like the prosecution came up with this theory of there was interference and that kind of a thing. But ask yourself, one, the witness were in their hands. They were in their safety. So who would interfere with somebody who is in your house, for instance? Yeah, these are people who had been moved out of this country. So who was there to interfere? And if they found them interfering, maybe they traveled to find this witness, I don't know.
So are you saying there was so you change your stand now and you would say there is no interference? Was there interference or was there no interference?
That's what I was saying. It is a prosecution theory. As there was no interference. What kind of interference to an extent that the judges find that there was no audio? Was there interference that there was somebody who was found to have stolen the audios, prosecution audios, that they had evidence against me? Is that, do they have that kind of a thing?
All right, Hosea, let me take a call from Hosea before I come to the next question. Good morning, Hosea. Thank you for calling. Straight to your question or comment.
Yeah, I want to just comment something.
Yes, Hosea.
I'm Hosea Kering from Zone Farm. Sang is my village mate. We went to school together.
Okay.
Ile kitu nilishangaa na international hiyo court we have a mzee Mokasa hata kwa police station Sang has never been mentioned ama amefanyiwa kesi. So I was wondering inaweza kuaje mtu mwenye hata haja aweze kustakiwa kwa international court.
Okay.
That's a question I'm still asking myself.
Okay, I guess that's a question that we can't answer here, but there you go. Thank you very much, Hosea. And Hosea, they're saying that how can somebody who's never been convicted, even in a police station locally, be mentioned in a criminal investigation that is international? But that's, I guess it's an open-ended question, a rhetoric question, which you can't answer. But coming back to you, Joshua, what would you say to those Kenyans who feel justice has not been done? You say justice has been done for you, yes, and possibly the six.
Definitely, yeah.
And your families. What about those who feel that justice has not been done?
Their justice will come. But you see, the problem was that people are attaching our freedom or our acquittal, for that instant, to other people's justice to have been done. So I'm asking yourself, did somebody want us to be locked in while we are innocent? We didn't participate for justice to be done to maybe the victims. What would they have benefited if you were locked in? That's one thing I'm asking myself. What they need is reparation, which is in the hands of the government. It doesn't matter if somebody is locked in or not, these people must be given. And that is my plea to the government, that whatever has not been made for these people, please make sure it should be done immediately, because they suffered. Number two, I would really pray that within the justice system of Kenya, whoever participated, whoever contributed in any way to that circumstance of 2008 should be brought to book.
Okay, let me take a call from Mutua Musyoki in Nairobi. Good morning, Mutua.
Good morning to you.
Yes, go right ahead to your question or comment, please.
Yeah, I just want to comment. I think you are very into information.
Sorry?
I think you are very into information. Yeah, because I remember with the interference of witnesses, there was this one today who was found murdered and thrown into the bush in in Savo.
Okay.
So what can we call that one? The other one is about the ICC. Yeah, I think it has failed. Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it has failed because they claim the cases failed because of the interference of witnesses. Then it means they are not capable. So in case there is another case like that, and then there is interference of witnesses, the case cannot proceed. So it has also failed. So we need to come up with a very authoritative ICC. It needs to be reformed.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mutua Musyoki. They are saying that from his perspective, there was interference. You have people who are even found killed in various parts. And again, that's one that we cannot comment on because we cannot support that. But I want us to move on.
I think we need to, that was okay, because he's talking about Yebe, who was killed.
Yes.
Yebe was a witness. He was witness of Deputy President. He was a defense witness. So we are even asking ourselves, up to date, who killed him? He was our witness. He was not a prosecution witness. So if you even talk about interference, now ask yourself, our witness has been killed. By who?
It would be expected to be the other way around. Okay. Let's now move on to something else because we are almost out of time. time, and it was recorded, and I want to get it from you, that you aspire to go for an elective seat in 2017.
Yeah, as I said, there are appeals from people of Trans Nzoia and even Uasin Gishu to some extent. I'm getting shocked. Some people are saying, come to Uasin Gishu, come and vie here. But I come from Trans Nzoia, so I would really want to do it. If I did any politics, I would start with my home area, that is Trans Nzoia. So people have been asking me to go for different nowadays, MP, senator, governor. So I'm still consulting on the same, and God willing, I'll make an announcement soon, if not this year, maybe early next year, after a wide consultation, because I don't want to get into something that at the end of the day I'm going nowhere. I want to be very sure of what I'm doing. But as I said, my life has been built in three things. One, I was to go through education, to do my broadcast or journalism, and then after that I would be a politician. So I'm getting close to 50, and I think time for politics is maybe ripe. Maybe this is the right time, but I'm still
left to you. What elective position would you seek?
It's very hard, because at the end of the day I might win, but that is not what I'm going to get. But gathering the information from Trans Nzoia people, they would want me to go for either governor or senator. Yeah.
And do you think that's a position that you would be able to fill if the people
decide?
Yes. You would be able to do that. What about Joshua Arap Sang? Is that something you'd want to do? I mean, given the passion that you talked about media, you went and told them, pay or no pay, this is my passion and this is my job. Would you approach politics in the same braveness?
Not really, because, for now, I'll still be doing both media, and if politics comes by next year, it's fine. But the passion, media passion, is still there, and politics, yes, to some extent. I look at our politics and the comic behind it, and the people who are, you cannot trust. Today they are saying this, tomorrow they are saying this. I feel, God willing, if I got into that position, would help with many other like-minded people to shape the politics of this country into something that talks about issues and, not lies in their propaganda and that rumors, but you want something that is going to help people. When you say you want to do it. If you can't do it, tell people, this one I've tried and I can't do it, and that is how to move on.
I'll come back to what you'd have to offer if indeed you go for an elective position. But let me take a call from Peter Ngeng, who is calling from Tana River. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I want to comment on what Mr. Joshua Sang is saying. That first of all, is really a Christian, and we commend him on that. Number two, we congratulate them for the prayers they held on Saturday, because this country needs healing.
Correct.
And then we need to move forward as a country. What I want to remind him is that he should really continue assisting people, especially through the radio, so that people can heal and know that we need to live together as a country and move forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter Ngeng from Tana River. Let's also talk to James Omondi calling from Kisumu City. James Omondi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask some few basic straight questions. One, there's been a saying that
kindly turn the volume of your TV off so that we're able to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah. One.
Yes, I'm asking a question in relation to how the whole issue has been handled. One, it was a judicial issue, and we have seen a lot of challenges of tribalizing this issue. How has some felt when some people have been associated and then it disenfranchised the relationship between communities, especially Luos and Kalenjins? Number two, I remember vividly that there were problems during that time. Nobody would have wished to see somebody associated to the problems. But then this one is not been appreciated as a judicial problem, and a problem which is there even now. There is no healing. Like for some of us, me and my group. But the thing is, the way they have handled the issue, during that time of Nakuru and Kibera, it is not something that's healing at all. And we have had problems from Krombaya, from the time of all these kind of years.
Okay.
This thing, how will they heal? And two, why do they associate that Prime Minister is the one who took people there and they expect healing in this country?
All right. Thank you very much, James Omondi. 2 questions there. One, I guess, is more direct, is judicial issue, and how you felt when others were being put in this particular process, and especially those possibly who have been left not having received justice.
As I said, it's a judicial system, it's a process. The cases have been terminated, we have not been found to have any case to answer. That is something that I would take like the next several years of my life that God will be able to give me to celebrate. That one, nobody should deny me to celebrate that. But at the same time, I have in mind, I know, we know it happened. People were killed, people were moved, people were suffering. But in that suffering, we did not cause, or I did not cause their sufferings. So what we need to do is to move forward, look at the teacher RC report which came after Kofi Annan came. There were stages of these things that to stop the violence, mediate and that kind of thing. So we have teacher RC report, which to my understanding, I think it's very good if we implement, because that will give us ways of how to handle these issues, as he talks about several years running when I was not even born. So these are things that we need to address without fear or favor and face it, like South Africa did, like Rwanda did, so that we end this menace, recurring after every election. And but the best thing is, please let politicians also be real politicians. If you are beaten, we have to get one winner. If you are beaten, go to court. If you believe, because sometimes it's so ironical that some of the people are saying, "Oh, you guys, this is a process, this is a court process. You should go and don't even pray, do all those things." But themselves, they don't go to court. They are defeated either at the MP, MCA. They don't want to go to the streets. They don't want to go to the same court. So if it's a process, let's go
to the court.
Face the judicial process all through.
We are out of time, Joshua Arap Sang. One question I must ask you is, if you go for an elective post in 2017, what is it that you have to offer the people that you're going to be leading?
One, I would stand by what I say. Whatever promises that I will make, I will stick to them. One, I will bring the change that Kenya needs. Pure, peaceful politics, politics of issues, not name calling, not tribal inclination, but you want Kenya, a politician, when you see somebody talking on radio or TV, or this guy is for Kenya. I would bring politics. The politics that unites Kenya, like our rugby team, which I say thank you so much. Congratulations what you did. Things that happen, like our athletes, when they run and get that gold, it is for Kenya. It is not for their family. It is not for him or her, but it's for Kenya. That is the kind of politics I want to do. That whatever I stand, whatever I say, it is for Kenya and not for me.
But I'll say you've spoken like a politician, exactly, because we have had those words before. But like they say, the proof is in the pudding. So only time will tell when the rubber meets the road whether you're going to keep to what you're saying or not. And that's if you go for elective politics. Well, that's where we wind up as person of interest this morning. That's none other than Joshua Arap Sang. And you had it for yourself, the journey during the ICC process and also his future ambitions. That's where we're going to wind up not Morning Express, but wind up person of interest this morning. Do stay with us. We've got a news update coming up. But also later on, we want to take care of your money. And yes, in Kenya, money has been elusive for the last many years. But today we'll be looking at how you can become a brand that can actually leverage and earn extra money just by being a brand. Do stay with us right here on Morning Express. That's all lined up for you, so don't go away.